everyone and welcome to the channel Learn Sanskrit. I am Dr. Chitra Bhardwaj and today we are going to study the characteristics of Vedic mythology. Before we move further, I would like to request you all to subscribe to the channel and look the video till the end and share your comments in the section below. So let's get started. Characteristics of Vedic mythology. As we all know that Rig Veda is the oldest document or say literature of world. Here we need to understand if we want to know the religion or say mythology of ancient India or Indian subcontinent, we need to look at Rig Veda Samhita. So in that particular aspect or regard, we are now going to discuss about the characteristics of Vedic mythology that have been prescribed in Rig Veda Samhita. First of all is the initial phase of Rig Vedic Samhita. In the initial phase of Rig Veda, we see many gods were there, and in the later part of Rig Veda Samhita, one god, this transition takes place. Here, initially, the polytheistic approach is there, and in the later part of Rig Veda Samhita, we move toward the monotheistic approach, or what we observe is a monotheistic approach. It is called as Bahudevtavad to Ekeshwarvad, and this had sowed a seed of interest in the Upanishada also, because in Upanishada, or what we can say in Brahman part of Vedic literature, that means Brahman, Aranyak and Upanishad, we can see a point of monotheistic approach in the Vedic mythology or say Brahmana literature. Here we need to know that we are going to discuss each and every god in detail in our next videos or upcoming videos. So let's talk about the next point. Here the next point is about 33 Devatas or god. In the Nirukta of Yask, the Yask talks about 33 gods. What is Nirukta and who is Yask? Nirukta is a part of Vedanga, and it is constituted or composed by Yask Rishi. We are going to discuss about Nirukta and Yask in our next videos or say upcoming videos when we talk about Vedangas, because Nirukta is a part of Vedanga, Shad Vedanga, that we discussed in our earlier video. Here 33 Devatas or gods are divided into 3 zones or parts on the basis of their state. The parts are terrestrial, aerial and celestial. Terrestrial is Prithvi Sthani. Aerial is Antariksha. And celestial is Dusthaniya. These 3 divisions are on the basis of the stay or the place where the god used to stay. Here we need to understand that terrestrial part is for the earth, area surrounding earth, or say the Prithvi. The main god for the terrestrial zone is Agni. The aerial part or say Antariksha, the main god who is said to be the main for the aerial part is Indra. Celestial part, the celestial zone is for the Surya. There, as I told you in just right now, that terrestrial part is the earth, aerial part is space and celestial part is heaven. So likewise this classification goes, and these 33 Devatas or gods are divided in these 3 sections or classified in these 3 parts on the basis where they actually stay. Next is occurrence in the group or gana. Here we need to understand that some of the gods in Rigvedic Samhita are said to be the single ones and some are said to be in groups. Like here we say Marut Gana or uh, Aditya Gana. These are the gods which are there in ganas or groups. So it's not only the god are like single god. The god are also in the group. The occurrence is actually at times in the group also. So we have some gods that are there in the group. Next is female goddesses. When we say when we have seen that Indra, Surya, likewise we have some female goddesses also which are there in the Rigved Samhita. Like Vak is there, Ushas is there, Ratri, Saraswati, etc. are the goddesses that are being given some places, or say some hymns are dedicated to these goddesses in Rigved Samhita. So in Rigveda mythology, some female goddesses are also an integral part of it. Next is the use of word asura. Before we go to the use of word asura, I would like to mention one more thing, that the god of Rig Vedic Samhita are born like normal human beings are born. They even have the parents, and in Rig Vedic Samhita the hymns are composed and describing the parents of the particular god. So the way they are being born is just like any human being. But one thing is for sure, that they are immortal. So what we can say, they have a very close proximity with the human physiology also. That they have the same organ, the same body type as a normal human being has. So this is way so in such is the manner in which the Rig Veda gods are described. So come back to the use of the word asura. The word asura, as is used in the later period for the demon, is not actually as same as the word used here in Rig Veda Samhita. Because in Rig Veda Samhita, the word asura means the god or devata, not the demon. Here, the word is used in the same manner as the word god or devata is used. Next is the process of personification. Here, I would talk about the phenomena of how people see around them the natural phenomena that are there around them, and then they start worshipping those natural phenomena, and that natural phenomena personifies into a god. Like the way the Agni is being treated. Agni is an integral part of the any house in the Rig Vedic period, that it is being used to cook food, it's being used to to take the warmth in the winter times, it's being used in the sacrifices also. So that's how the Agni becomes very vital, and that is how any vital natural phenomena takes a place of a god. And so we can say that's a process of personification, or some natural phenomena around the people which took place of a god, or say personified itself into a god. So this is how is a process of personification is seen in the Rigvedic period. Next is God has some common traits. Here we need to understand that Rigvedic gods are most of them are very positive in their attitude, like they are all virtuous, very courageous, very pious and very judicious. Because here we see at times we have seen some hymns dedicated to the wars of Indra and his courage. The courage that he displays in those wars are being shown in the hymns, and the gods being pious. These hymns actually describes them to be very pious, and at times the way they are very judicious about the people. They preach they preach the justice in the hymns. So these are some common traits for the gods that are being shown in the Rigvedic period. That is, All the gods are virtuous, courageous, pious, and judicious. Next is Rig Veda propagates optimism. Of course, Rig Veda propagates optimism. We all know that the gods, as we even in our house, in our house today also, all these gods are said to be propagating positive energies and positive attitudes and say optimism in the life. Likewise, the Rig Vedic period hymns are also for the god which propagates the optimism. Here, the gods are associated with the well-being or say growth and prosperity. All the sacrifices that were made in that period and the hymns that are dedicated to those sacrifices are basically because the person who was doing those sacrifices wanted something out of those sacrifices. So the god to whom that sacrifice was dedicated was because he was a god of that particular thing or say for the fulfillment of that desire. That's how the gods are associated with the well-being. If someone wants something, he should do this yagya or sacrifice, and that's how it is preached or say propagated in Rig Veda Samhita. There is one more exception that I would like to point it out. That is Rudra. Rudra being the god of fear, or he's one of the very ferocious god, but that too in a very positive manner because he is the one who makes people fear about doing wrong things. He makes the people follow the right path. In the last, I sum up by saying that Indra, the god Indra, 250 hymns are dedicated to him in Rig Veda Samhita. Agni, 200 hymns are written for Agni, and Som, 100 hymns are written for Som. So what this number indicates is the most of the hymns in Rig Vedic Sukta or Rig Veda Samhita are dedicated to Indra. In this later next comes Agni and then Soma. So this is all about the Vedic mythology and religion. Thank you. I hope you like the video and please subscribe to the channel and share your comments in the section below. And please hit the bell icon so that you get a timely notification about the latest uploads of the videos.